I'm sorry that I was not able to be here at the same time that Chairman Henslin was here, because first of all, I'd like to express my deep concern about what's going on in Texas and inquire about what is being done to make sure that the citizens are being taken care of and that bodies are being located that may not have yet been identified as lost. But I'd like to ask Mr. Kiesman here today, have you had an opportunity to talk with our chairman to explain to him what you know about what has happened in Texas and how severe that is?
No, Congresswoman, I have not had that opportunity.
Perhaps he's not had the time to make that call to you, but I would ask you if you would offer yourself to the chairman to explain to him exactly how devastating the storms have been in Texas and what it's going to take to compensate those who have been displaced, whose homes have been destroyed, on and on and on. I think it's very important. You may know that during the time that we were involved with the reauthorization of the National Flood Insurance Program, perhaps the chairman did not feel that we needed to reauthorize that program. And I'm not asking you to convince him of anything. I'm just asking you to share with him exactly what has taken place in Texas. This may cause him to rethink what he feels about the National Insurance Program. So I appreciate that. Now, having said that, the NFIP is in the red with a staggering debt of $24 billion. Most people assume that it is because of subsidies written into the program, but historically the program had been self-sufficient. I believe we should be taking a close look at the administrative cost of the program. And I'd like to ask, to what extent has FEMA revised its WYO compensation practices to address concerns identified in prior GAO reports? For example, a 2009 GAO report found that FEMA consistently overpays WYOs for operating expenses. The WYOs currently receive 30% of premiums just for operating expenses, yet they hold none of the risk. So what, if any, is your timeline for better aligning the costs and expenses of the WYO program?
So, Congresswoman, we have literally just met in the last week or so with GAO, who are now opening a very specific engagement on WYO compensation, and we gave them a substantial amount of input about our concerns, some of which we share with you, about the compensation framework. I would offer just 2 points, if I might. First, I respectfully disagree that WIOs don't share in the risk. While it is true that they don't financially share in terms of the pool of money from which claims are paid, I think if you asked any of the 25 or 27 or so companies that are in litigation in New York and New Jersey today, they would tell you they share considerably with respect to reputational harm. And frankly, I want them to share in that risk with FEMA and with government. That's what we need in our partners, regardless of whether they're contractors or federal entities. And many of those write-your-owns, Congresswoman, have in fact stepped up now that the evidence is becoming clearer. Some still need some additional persuasion. The other point that I would make with you is that 30%, while it sounds like a large number, when you look at the industry-wide standard for overhead, it's not that far out. I believe we can get that number down and get service up, but I do want to put that in context. So I think our goal needs to be working with GAO and working with the write-your-owns to cut layers out of this that we don't need 32 years into the program. We may end up reducing the number of WIOs or changing the structure of that, but there are ways for us to reduce costs while still increasing services, and I want to work with GAO and our partners to do that. No, Mr. Wright is committed to that as well.
Well, thank you very much. And this is not in my notes for today, but it's been in my head for a long time because I'm so concerned about the premium costs of this insurance to our constituents. I'd love to forgive the whole $24 billion, wipe it out. I know that's an unrealistic wish, perhaps, but what do you think about a bold idea like that?
So without getting myself in too much trouble 10 days before I leave federal service, what I would say is this. This is not an actuarially sound program, and it was never designed to be. If the program could be delivered in an actuarially sound way, private industry would have taken care of it, and we wouldn't be involved. The notion that there's $23 billion in debt, as you said when you began, the Write Your Own program and the NFIP generally have run solvent, with the exception of 9 years out of about 34. And one of those is Katrina, and I will just leave with this comment. The NFIP was as much a victim of Katrina as everyone else who was a victim of Katrina. It literally blew us out of the water.
Thank you very much. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady's expired.